Hesquex Petsia. Good morning, all my friends and relatives, and welcome to today's meeting. As a representative of the elected leadership of the Spokane Tribe, we are very honored to host you all today to this meeting, and we really look forward to what you have to share with us. We're so very proud of all of you for all of your efforts this summer in learning the language. Last year, one of our major goals was to make the language and our culture a major goal for the tribe, and we continue to have that as our goal this year with our planning process. And so you're helping make that happen, and we thank you for that. So welcome, and we have all 5 elected leaders here in the audience, and we're social distancing, we're wearing our masks and trying to keep in accordance with the rules we have. We have a crowd limitation of 10. So that's why we're going this way. So welcome, and we just look forward to what you have to offer us. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Barry. Sulu.
Kesquek Spezia, Nefkets Tiflemti, Ketsia, yes, Hochalt. O kats bistamo en kats lukes boek us kol kats ja lust schools lukes such at kei minum lukes ja nunum lukes en kol kwalten twa kats bistamo en kut naxum lukes kol kwalten lukes people goed lukes kol musen koletsia nek lune lukes takolus lukes such sichult lukes smeltetsia. So I just want to thank all of you for allowing us to be here today. It's a really important day for us. It's very important for us, for the language, and the language is a heritage that we've all received from our grandparents, our ancestors, our elders, all the ones who went before us. But it's also a heritage for our children, our grandchildren, and our future generations. So it's been a very momentous summer for us. It's been very important for us, and we're just so pleased to be here. And I really appreciate your flexibility in meeting with us like this. We know that it's a difficult time. It's a time of a pandemic. It's a time of a lot of fear. A lot of people are afraid for their health, for their loved ones, for their safety. And at the same time, we recognize the importance of having our students be able to come here and to speak to you face to face. And we just are so grateful that you've allowed this to happen. And so we do have an invocation. We've asked Lewis Bates to do the invocation for us and Craig Hill to do the translation. We're raising up a new generation of elders, and it starts today, and you all get to witness it first. So, lem lunch.
Lem lunch. Considering me kusunum til to ispaus kusanum.
Creator, listen to my heart and listen to me.
Lemons closely yet wa.
Thank you for today.
Chinchicks are chinchahui hicks charleston fluis demelis fluis in calio flu huihuayus flu scalius in ethan.
I come here today to pray for my family, for my fellow people, for the animals, for the spirits, and the Indian food.
Chinchamanu kex chinchanim flu ke and coquelton flu ke and colaman port bench.
I pray that the language stays here for the future.
Jetzt Charleston fluhets Waiting, fluhets Chupet Elsie, fluhets Woolsey.
I pray for the sick, for the injured, and for the lost.
Chinchaman Uklex Huxies.
I pray that we are all well.
Corn Sudan me Parkshin Seaton, flu Skelly.
Creator, shine your light on the people
First. Me pot our staff, flu Spoos.
and
Tulfetia, flu Saoops, flu Sainch, flu Pupus Entities.
protect our hearts, protect everyone's hearts from sickness, from anger, and from sadness.
Me Hochen Tel, flu Sin Kelly Quarks.
Take care of their roads ahead.
Lemon Corn Sudan and Pusan.
Thank you, Creator, for listening to me.
Going to give thanks to Lewis for that prayer and give you a little bit of background about how that prayer came to be. He came to us and said that he wanted to learn this prayer. And this was even before we had thought about this meeting with council. It was something that was in his heart to do. And so he wrote out this prayer, and then he had me help him translate it. And so all summer long, in addition to all of his studies in class, he's been practicing that prayer every day. So we're really pleased with him and the work that he's done and the heart that he's shown to make that happen. And also for Craig for stepping up at the last minute to do the translation. And so he just did that right now. That translation. So as a mom, I think you should be really proud of your kids and what they've achieved. So we have a lot of people who have things that they want to share with you today. So you already know our program and what we're about. I think though the most important thing that I wanted to convey to all of you is a lot of times the work that we do in language it's difficult to see. It's difficult to put a finger on. A lot of it is archival work. A lot of it is research. A lot of it is curriculum, and it's intellectual. And so sometimes it's difficult to see the results of that. And so that was part of the reason this meeting was so important for us, is we wanted you to be able to see in person the results of what we've done. Now, granted, what we've achieved here is a small portion of the whole journey to fluency, but it is a significant portion. Just giving some of the statistics about what our students have achieved this summer. They've completed book 1 and 6 stories in the language. Encompassed in book 1 and those 6 stories are approximately 770 words that they have learned. When we initiated this program back on June 1st, we did pre-testing with the students. So we tested them just on what they knew walking in on the first day. Now, most of them did around a 30 or a 40% on the vocabulary portion of that, meaning that in our communities, in our homes or in the school or wherever people get language in this community, that they did have some vocabulary. So of the words that we presented to them, they knew about 30 to 40% of the words on the list, which granted it was a sample. It wasn't all of that. Now on the higher portions of that and the actual grammar and structure and understanding sentences and things like that, the average scores were much lower. It was below 20%. In some cases, below 10% on understanding of grammar. That's actually sentences, speaking and structure and those kinds of things. That was the average 12 weeks ago. We tested again yesterday, and the class average was 93% in both vocabulary and grammar. So we tested both on just the words that they knew, but we also tested sentences. They had to be able to read the sentences and to give the correct translation. And the average held up the same, both on vocabulary and grammar. The class averaged 93%. Several students got 100%. And so this is something that it was really important to us to be able to see that real world application. Now at 770 words, almost 800 words, they have the vocabulary of a 4-year-old. That's what a 4-year-old has, but that's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's nothing to be embarrassed of. This, starting, back, in June, where the average vocabulary was of a 1-year-old. So it's quite an achievement. And so it's a journey to fluency. Now, if we look at the full journey to fluency, to become low fluent in any language, it takes approximately 10,000 words. It's difficult to quantify, but approximately 10,000 words to become low fluent in any language. And so when you look at this, at 800 words, they're almost 10% of the way there. And so this was important for us to present, not just because of the value of the curriculum and the value of the method, but also to be able to show that of what can be done when a group of students has a dedicated time, a bulk of time, a chunk of time to be able to study. And this is what's happened in 12 weeks. And so we're super excited. We're super proud of them. And we can certainly, we're still analyzing some of the finer points of the statistics, and we'll present that at a future time, but that's kind of a rough idea. So I'm going to turn the time actually over to Pupas, and I'd like him to kind of talk a little bit more about the method and how we got here.
Hello, good morning. My name is Pupas. Thank you for gathering this morning. The method that we use is called a natural approach. This method was created about late 1970s, early 1980s by Scott Creshnell and Tracy Terrell. And what they focus on is communication. They don't focus on grammar and building sentences. It's just being in the environment and just speaking. It aims to form a naturalistic approach for language acquisition in a classroom, which I believe is one of the closest methods that we have as to where our elders have used. Now, our elders didn't use a classroom, we understand that, but we don't have elders for guidance like that anymore, so we have to use a classroom. And I believe this is one of the closest ways we can achieve that, being respectful and to our ways and our ancestors, and then also how it works. Everybody here that has learned these last 12 weeks has been in an environment that was stress-free, that they weren't harshed on, that they were allowed to make mistakes, that they were okay to be babies, and that they weren't focused on, hey, you got to pronounce this right this time. It's like, hey, it's okay. You'll blabber, you'll stutter. One day you'll get it, and that's beautiful. You messing up is beautiful. I'm excited for what you guys are going to be able to see here today from these students, from these adults, and the power that our language has. I'm very thankful for these people, for their trust and this. We haven't done something like this in a long time on our reservation. And so to be able to lead our people to a healing place fills my heart. But again, thank you. I'm a full believer on this natural approach. I believe we will save our language. It's going to take some time, but we will do it. Not much.
So it was really important for our students, like I mentioned earlier, really wanted to have the opportunity to meet you in person and to share a little bit about their experience. And we haven't, I have no idea what they're going to tell you. They might say it was horrible. Probably not. I hope not. But we just want to give them that opportunity. And so want to introduce to you Heidi Abrahamson and Crystal Boring.
You want me to go first? I have Squax and Klampus Louis Squax.
Hello, good morning. Blomquin's my name.
Chen Chetla Upin has seal spec.
I'm 35 years old.
Fred Abrahamson Louis Skepet.
Fred Abrahamson's my grandfather on my dad's side.
Flossie Abrahamson Louis Kennett.
Flossie Abrahamson's my grandma on my dad's side.
Phil Morseman Louis Phil Morseman Squest Louis Sealet.
Fred Morseman is my grandfather on my mother's side.
Brigitte Morseman Squest Louis Chichia.
Brigitte Morseman is my grandmother on my mom's side.
Oma. This is my Oma.
Oma.
Jerry Abrahamson Squest Louis Mestum.
Jerry Abrahamson's the name of my father.
Renata Squest Louis Tomb.
And Renata Abrahamson's the name of my mother.
Simplichin Squest Louis Squisette.
Simplichin is the name of my son.
Spokane Squest Louis Stimchelt.
And Spokane is the name of my daughter.
Chin Chetla Chinkui Hlu Simmayatin.
I work at the school
Institute
in Welpinit.
Shehoy.
That's everything. I had Squex, Hanis Willis Quest.
My name is Hanis.
Norma McCrae, Willis Quest, Willis Chichia.
Norma McCrae is the name of my mother's mother.
Dina Moses, Willis Quest, Willis Tomb.
Dina Moses is the name of my mom.
Reggie Boyd Jr., who Jacoby Boyd, Willis Quest.
Reggie Boyd and Jacoby Boyd are my sons.
Amaya Boyd, who Allison Boyd, Willis Quest, just melt.
Maya and Allison Boyd are my daughter's names.
Chietzion Nuniton Empo Kinish
I study language at the Language House.
Oh,
that's it.
This is I just like to share this story. It was a project in class that we wrote ourselves. And so I'm gonna do it in Salish and she's gonna translate for me. Fluta kasipi, fluta snakaliu uhk chisakam tintuak.
A long time ago, there was a camp along the river.
Hui flu sinkaliu ish jistuet to het mukmak u quellis to shaft.
The people would go on the road up the mountains to gather huckleberries.
Suitum to eat to squeeze.
The mother told the boy,
Oxen flew an after skeleton to Tarok.
There's a man eater up there. If you see him, you run.
Titui uhui to het mukmak u after skeleton in hotels.
The boy, he went to where the monster lived.
Flew an after skeleton u gemensch flew to shop flew to eat school wheeled.
The boy was met by the monster in he wanted his huckleberries and he wanted his life. The monster did.
Quant flew to eat to quist the well flew an after skeleton kus in Jerpamine.
The two they made a bet for a swimming race.
Quant flew to eat an after skeleton noon oost.
They both jumped into the water.
Sim Leachchin Eat Flew to Deweet Sully Suit Suit.
The salmon, he came up underneath the boy's feet and helped him.
Titweet Hoop Flew Nafu Skeleton Eat.
The boy won, the monster lost.
In Aflu Skeleton U Aint U Suchutitels.
The monster, he was mad, he was furious.
Hoi to do u at hui sinotelses u het suchsten.
The boy, he went home well known.
In aflu skeleton hui slakis nu aflu skeleton mariamist.
Oh, the monster, he had to go to the sweat house to get medicine.
In aflu tin slakis in Oscar justo wheels u swiniti flusquest.
The boy, or the monster, when he came out of the sweat house, he was healed, and now Squinity is his name.
Sheohoi.
That's all.
So I'd like to introduce now Veronica Weinkoop and Whitney Moses.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Quickweem Scoof Louis Squats. Quickweem Scoof is my name. Chin Esa Ukin Spanish. I am 20 years old. Chin Puchuta Will Skelly Hula. I grew old on the reservation. Chiets Oshel Fluchas George Old Box. And I live in Fort. Boom Stearns to Squest to East Sealand. Boom Stearns is my mother's father. Sherry Stearns to Squest to East Chia. Sherry Stearns is my mother's mother. Spokane Skelly to East and Quelly. The Spokane people are my family, my people. Otskint to Eastern Pox. Look at my dress. Spoons. Do you see my otter first? Tom Jimish not just one flower, but 2 flowers on my moccasins. And now I'm just going to tell you guys like what this summer has meant to me. And I just want to thank you all for the hardships you have endured for us to be here. And I also want to tell you guys, like, this summer I will never be able to put my experience into words. It did a lot for me, like, spiritually and mentally. I feel like I lost the connection with my culture when I was young. And, you know, being introduced to the language again, I feel I have earned, like, I'm worthy of wearing my clothes again. Like, I feel worthy of wearing the traditional clothing of our people. Shay. So, hello, good morning, everyone. Kukuyuma at Shaman Flu East Quest. Kukuyuma at Shaman is my name. I'm 21 years. I love the language of the Spokane. I love my new family. When we were asked to make this into a small like portion of like how this class has helped us or what we want to speak about, I had a really hard time trying to like just make it as short as possible. So I wanted to say a prayer. So I'm just gonna go through with that, and I think it like kind of represents a lot of what I've learned. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Grandfather. My heart is full. I am thankful for all that I've learned this summer. It's been beautiful to watch everyone grow. It's like the language of the Spokanes have brought light and life. I pray for our roads as we move forward. May we not forget what we have learned. Ets in Okonistan, Flu Samami, Flu Skorula, Flu Huihuyu, Flu Hetsia. I pray that we remember the stories, the animals, the plants, everything. Minam hi hook, fluk es us, uk es sur which, for Hetsia, Flu Sahot, Flu Butisines. May or will you clean our hearts, and clear our visions for all the days ahead. Shehoy, Lamash Hetsia.
I'd like to introduce Lauren Matt and Antonetta Prairie Bear Flett.
Hello, good day, everyone. Nakohe is my name. I'm 19 years old.
Trina Prairie Bear, Flusquestling too.
Trina Prairie Bear is my mom.
Tony Prairie Bear, Flusquestling Sila.
Tony Prairie Bear is my dad, or my mom's dad.
Anna Kina, Flusquestling Chichia.
Anna Kina is my mom's mom.
Jeannie Flett, Flusquestling Kennett.
Jeannie Flett is my dad's, or my mom's dad.
Victor Tully, Flusquestling Sahepta.
Victor Tully is my dad's dad.
Chietio Anuni, Flucha Gonzaga.
I attend Gonzaga University.
Chinson Homenei, Northern Cheyenne.
I belong to the Middle People, Spokane, and Northern Cheyenne people.
Shay Hoy, Lemnuch Pitia.
That is all, thank you. Kalula, or Al Hasselhal Petzistan.
Hello, good day. How are you guys?
Kalula Frisquest.
Kalula is my name.
Chin Upen Echochanuts and Hoops.
I am 19 winters.
Angie Matt Frisquest Lumtum.
Angie Matt is the name of my mother.
John Matt Frisquest Lum Meston.
John Matt is the name of my father.
Janet Covington Frisquest Lum Chichia.
Janet Covington is the name of my mother's mother.
Alan Covington Frisquest Lum Sidat.
Alan Covington is the name of my mother's father.
Karen Iyer Frisquest Lum Kennett.
Karen Iyer is the name of my father's mother.
Bill Matt Sr. Frisquest Lum Sahepe.
Bill Matt is the name of my father's father.
Sing Tita Ulu Husin Humana Skelu.
I belong to the upper band and middle band people.
Chiatio Anuni Chin SFCC Kutum Sin Merton.
I attend SFCC, the big school.
Shetuar Shu Sin Shelton.
Welpinit is where my home is.
Shayhor, not much.
That is all, thank you. So for our presentation, we will be telling you a Spiliot story. Flew to Kasiki.
Long time ago,
Uep Inathi Scaliftin.
there was a man-eater.
The Menchis Fluchaxim flew to Nathi Scaliftin.
The man-eater liked to gamble.
And Tels flew Nathi Scaliftin. Chinchis Kameltin.
He thought to himself, I am hungry.
Nathi Scaliftin Uspilia Chitsinwa.
A coyote and the man-eater met.
Elite flew Spilia.
He told him to come over.
Chinchis Kameltin Uquet Sweet Nuki. Aqua Chamenchis Lusalauquam Suki Nathi Scaliftin.
The man-eater said, I am hungry and you look good. Do you like to gamble?
Una in Hamenchu Lusalauquam Suki Spilia.
Coyote said, yes, I like to gamble.
Quent to Quishtoa.
They made a bet.
Nekahoop flew Nathi Scaliftin Ifum to Spilia.
If man-eater wins, he gets to eat coyote.
Nekahoop flew Spilia Tahets Hui flew Chake flew Nathi Scaliftin.
If coyote wins, man-eater has to stay away from his camp.
Hoi hoi flew Sneaks.
They finished their game.
Hetskahoop flew Spilia.
Coyote lost.
Ta Hakamin flew Spilia Utarok.
He ran away from danger.
Petite flew Nathi Scaliftin Uspilia flew Chachecholip.
They ran until the next summer.
Shay hoi.
That is all.
So I'd like to introduce Patty Hill and Craig Hill.
Hesquox Petia.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Chietsma Squest.
Chietsma is my name.
Chitopskia Shuin Gogset.
Chitopska is my brother.
Kukotasket Shuin Oops.
And Kukultasket is my younger sister.
Margot Hill Shuin Tum. Tim Hill Shuin Mestum.
Margot Hill is my mother, and Tim Hill is my father.
Phyllis Wynn Shuin Chichia. Michael Finnegan Shuin Sila.
Phyllis Wynn is my grandmother on my mother's side, and Michael Finnegan is my grandfather on my mother's side.
CP Shuin Neruya.
CP is my great-great-grandmother.
Sadie Boyd Shuin Siapi Squest.
Sadie Boyd is her English name.
Ronald Hill Shuin Huppet. Patricia Hill Shuin Kenneth.
Ronald Hill is my grandfather on my dad's side, or grandfather on my dad's side, and Patricia Hill is my grandmother on my dad's side.
Chin Essel Upenswetch. Chietio Anuni Future University of Washington.
I'm 20 years old and I study at the University of Washington.
Chiet Ilshev Future Siasin. Hupen Cheskhet Shuin Sinolshetin.
I live in Seattle, but my home is in Spokane.
Chin Sin Homenet Scale.
I am of the middle band Spokanes.
That was just a short introduction about myself, and I kind of want to take a moment to talk about how my learning process this summer has compared to my learning processes of learning other language. So I've had the opportunity to study Salish this summer, but I've also studied Korean when I was in college. And I just wanted to point out that both languages are considered level 5 languages, meaning that they're very difficult to learn from English compared to a level 1 language such as French. When studying Korean, I spent at least 1 hour every day during the week in class, and then I was expected to study 2 hours outside of class on my own. So out of 15 hours a week, I would be spending 5 in class amongst other students. That was very difficult for me because I was expected to do a lot of individual learning and studying on my own. This summer, I had the opportunity to sit in a class amongst fellow students, and we all got to learn together. We got to study together, make mistakes together, and be vulnerable around each other. And I feel like there's much more of a need for me to study Salish than there is to study any other foreign language that there is. So I just wanted to thank you again for this opportunity to learn with my fellow students and to grow with them as well. Language is a hard thing to learn, especially if it's a level 5 language, but this is a language that I hope to keep forever, even if it's just a little bit. And I hope to continue learning. Now I'm going to turn it over to my brother, but he's going to speak in Salish and I'll translate for you.
Achesohot Petia, or Achesquext Petia Chitopska Suisquest.
He said good day, but he said good morning. My name is Chitopsket.
Chietsma Oops.
Chietsma is my little sister.
Nel Kukotasket Oops.
Also, Kukotasket is my other little sister.
Margot Hill Sui Skui, Tim Hill Sui Al.
Margot Hill is my mom and Tim Hill is my father.
Phyllis Wynn Sui Chichia, Michael Finnegan Sui Sila.
Phyllis Wynn is my mom's mother and Michael Finnegan is my mom's father.
CP Sui Neruya.
CP is my great grandmother.
Sadie Boyd Sui Suyapison's quest.
Sadie Boyd is her English name.
Ronald Hill flew in Sahepe, Patricia Hill flew in Kenneth.
Ron Hill is my dad's dad, and Patricia Hill is my dad's mom.
Chiets Yotanuni flew to University of Washington.
I study at the University of Washington.
Chiets Elshe flew to Seattle, Hooping Cheskhet flew East and Elshatten.
I live in Seattle, but Spokane is my home.
Chinsin Khomeneskelu.
I am of the middle band people.
Ku Soundament.
Listen to me.
Chietsin PLC, Tmachinep Seats Lachalacht.
I am happy because I have new friends.
Who Ket Yotanuni flew Kang Qualton.
And we learned together our language.
Chin and Musus, yes, and Quellu, who now Kus Yotanuni flew Kang Qualton.
I hope our fellow people can also learn our language.
Qui Quils flew East Lachalacht.
My friends are hardworking.
Het Tilkumisti, Hoopen, Het Kustuilshi.
They had a hard time, but they got better.
Ke Inku Qualton Suk Yoshin.
We are language warriors.
Kets Huisti flew Ches and Kuliquaks.
We are walking on a good path.
Chen Musos, Wichim Plie, K Soundament.
I hope you see this and I hope you listen to us.
Sheuhoi Petsia Lanmanch.
That is all. Thank you.
So we have a couple people who were not on our original list. They did not do this through the ABT. These are actually people who we hired through Spokane Language House to assist us this summer. So they're actually employees of our organization and not ABT. But we do require all of our employees to also study the language and take the class. So first I'd like to introduce Dakota Moses, and he is an assistant office manager, and then Christian Haugen, who we hired as a classroom assistant this summer to help with all of our materials and putting things up and taking things out, and all around gopher, I think. So give them an opportunity too to share their experience.
Good morning, everybody. Tutaquasket is my name. Phil Haugen is my grandfather on my father's side.
Mary Haugen
Mary Haugen is my father's mother. Cub Pion is my grandfather on my mother's side.
Gracia Pion
is my grandmother on my mother's side. I am 20 winters. I live at Ford, where the creek forks. I paddle for Simpleach, the name of my canoe. I ride horses on the reservation. My heart is full for my people, my land, and the Spokane language. That is all.
Good morning, everyone.
Pixpia Hui Squest.
Pixpia is my name.
Ninchman Hui Squest Hui Sachali.
Nietzscheman is the name of my husband.
Sulu Stu Barry Moses Hui Squest Hui. Sorry, very notice. Sulu Stu Hui Squest. Sulu Stu Barry Moses Hui Squest Hui Lao.
Sulu Stu Barry Moses is the name of my father.
Rhonda Hui Squest Hui Skui.
Rhonda is the name of my mother.
Ed Moses Hui Squest Hui Sachepet. Shelley Marie Hui Squest Hui Gannett.
Ed Moses is the name of my father's father. Shelley Marie is the name of my father's mother.
Ron Merchant Hui Squest Hui Sile. Glenda Merchant Hui Squest Hui Chia.
Ron Merchant is the name of my mother's father. Glenda Merchant is the name of my mother's mother.
Guyuma at Shamanu McKenna Hui Squest Hui Oops.
Guyuma at Shemin and McKenna are my younger sisters.
Jets Goli Fucha in Bokini Shinafuden.
I work at the Spokane Language House.
Chinson Homenity.
I'm from the middle band people. That is all. I'd just like to talk about some of the experiences I had this summer and what it did for me. Personally, a long time ago when I was young, about the age of 12, I got my first haircut, and that was because I hated to be Indian. Growing up off-res, I was bullied, whether it was from the Siapis or from my own people, from being away from the res. So I didn't make it too easy. I wanted to be Indian, so I decided didn't want to be it, didn't see myself as Indian. Moved across the country and just felt more alone because I didn't have any sense of people over there. And at that point, I was kind of like seen as another minority and not even as Native American anymore. So it's like I had no identity in myself. But this class this summer has helped me find a sense of family, a tribe, an actual tribe, and someone in a place where I belong. And it helped me figure out that I'm not Christian Haugen anymore. My name's Chichkwaskit.
I just wanted to share a little bit about what my experience has been in this class and watching my my fellow classmates. A common theme that we found just the other day, actually yesterday when we were filming for a documentary, a common theme that we found among us is that none of us felt like we belonged, like anywhere. We felt like maybe we were too white to be Indian or too Indian to be white, or, you know, somewhere in between. Like we didn't have a place, like we didn't have our culture, we didn't have our language. And throughout this summer, I've seen us all go from, you know, our individual selves, lost and wandering, to coming together, to what Glaskett said, just really being a family, and reclaiming what was taken from us, and reclaiming that sense of self, that sense of pride, that sense of community and connection. And that's something that I think with any other language, especially one that isn't necessarily indigenous, you know, you can't fully explain with words what that means to bring that back. You can't explain that to someone unless they know. And I feel like now we as a class have a better understanding of what that means to reclaim it. And I think all of us have brought that into our hearts, and we want to keep going. We want to continue. We want to be able to teach our children so that they can take it even further than us. So my prayer is that we will have that opportunity to continue, that we will have that opportunity, you know, to have the means and the resources available to us so that we can continue, so it doesn't die. As you know, leading up till now, it's unfortunately been on that slow path. That's my prayer, and that's what I want to share with you.
This kind of program or this kind of project, I think, could never succeed without the support of, oh my gosh, let's take that, I can't see. It can't succeed without the support of community members and family members, you know, people who are giving moral support, encouragement, you know, driving, you know, all the things that it takes to make this kind of thing happen. And so we have a lot of gratitude today for one of our family members who's here with us, and that's Margot Hill. And she's been one of our great cheerleaders too. And so we're just really happy to see her here today. We're so proud of your kids. And you know, one of the comments that was made is that all of us here had grandparents, great grandparents, you know, who were language speakers. And when you see them in the room, you know, you see that you see the faces of those old people here, and we see the faces of some of the ones who are still living. And so it was really a joy and a pleasure to have Patty and Craig in the class, and we can tell that they were raised right. And so I want to give a few moments to Margot to share her experience as a family and supporter.
Margot Hill. I can't even begin to share how much this program has meant to me this summer, and I'm gonna keep it together. My kids come home every day, speaking the language, and it's not something I've heard since I was little, speaking the language around the house. I grew up around, Sadie Boyd that lived right here, my great grandmother. She spoke the language, and so her kids and her grandkids, my aunt or 10, speaking the language. And so every day my kids for 3 months have gotten up early and drove out to the Longhouse to work on language all day. And I'm so thankful to the Tribal Council, to our education program for this opportunity. My kids, they live in Seattle, and every month they each have to pay $900 a month. So they could not do this program if it wasn't funded. It's just too much money, right? So the minimal amount that they've got has made it possible for them to take this time and invest this time in their language. It's because of the language that these young people are all empowered. More important than anything you can see is how those young people feel. You heard it. They were speaking from their hearts. I didn't know what they were going to say today. But you heard little Ronnie stand here and say, I feel like I can wear my tribal regalia. They feel like they belong. And it comes through the language. And it's not just vocabulary, it's our whole worldview. They're learning how our tribal people think by the way they speak. Every day they were breaking down words. Craig would come home and he'd translate a word. Even when they talk about Sadie, it's oops, it means the tail end or the butt end, the last in line. All of our words have meanings and concepts and translations that empower us. You heard Christian Haugen feel like that he belongs, that he had to cut his hair. Outside on the outside world, it's really hard to be Indian because you feel like you're not enough Indian or you're not enough of anything, but the language empowers you and you don't question yourself. You guys have given them an opportunity to belong to a crew. They have this whole Indian identity, and I can tell you that they have lived it all summer. They were up on the Kalispell Reservation for a canoe journey, and when they were up there, there were my cousin Annette Matt. She's a teacher for Marcia, a curriculum developer, and she was so impressed by hearing these kids speak the language. They were all speaking the language, Pupas and Lucas and all of them. They were, and she's like, wow. And she's a language teacher that's been doing a couple of years, and now these kids have 770 words. And they go home and they go through it at night and they listen to it, and they have followed your rules. When the tribe went on lockdown because of COVID, then they didn't come down to Longhouse. Then they stayed at home and they all Zoomed in. And then I had the opportunity they let me crash. And so I could listen. And I was so impressed with Pupas translating stories. It was actually a story from my great grandmother. And so I was able to hear these words, and it was so empowering. They have followed all the rules. And I know there's been criticisms. I've seen people talking smack on Facebook. Why do we need 2 language programs? But here's a group of kids that can now go back out into the world and feel strong about their tribal identity. They know so much more of our worldview and concept. They were up, we were all up picking huckleberries. They're living the language and they're speaking the language, and it's so empowering. And I can't tell you how much that means to me as a mother to be able to hear my kids speak the language, because they've heard me, but now they know more than I do. And we talk about it at home, and I feel strong that they are now empowered and feel like real Spokane Indians. And we're so hard on each other. My brother Perry was over that grew up around my great grandmother speaking the language, and he was correcting them or saying stuff, and then he was asking them, and then he felt comfortable enough to ask them the language. And the most important part, I think, is that Pupas and Barry Sulustu are nice guys. So my kids never felt threatened. These young people have been really brave to put themselves out there and to work so hard. And so I want to thank the language program. I want to thank Pupas and Barry for all their hard work. It's amazing to me. It brings tears to my eyes because I know that we are going to have our language come back. I know that the people are speaking the language and they're understanding our tribal concept and worldview. So I thank the tribal council and I thank our education department. It's really been an amazing journey this summer. Lambos.
So we have here with us today Velma Brem, and she brings a unique perspective because she originally worked for the official Spokane Tribe Language Program, and now she joined our summer program. So she came at a definite advantage, and she has also her perspective. And then we also have Louis Bates again. He did the prayer this morning, but we realized we didn't give him an opportunity to actually say anything that he might want to share with you.
Apetia, Bomachuis quest to Kopi through in Kali's quest. Chinmus lupin afin coot spench. Sharon through quest in 2. Repeat through quest in Mestum. Boma through quest in Chichiet. Herman through quest in Silet. Lisapa through quest in Tenet. Jack through quest in Schapet. I gave you my introduction of who I am and where I come from and my family. But now I'm going to speak to you in English because I really want you to hear what I have to say. It's true, I come from a different perspective. I've been teaching the Salish language through the language program for quite a few years. I've been in the schools on the reservation from Head Start and up at the ELC all the way up to high school. And this summer, I got to have the unique opportunity to become a student yet again. And I walked in on day 1 and I saw all these children. To me, they were children sitting there. And in my mind, I could see them like little seeds being planted in the soil of our culture. And every day that they walked through those doors, those seeds grew a little bit more and a little bit more. They were being watered and they were being cared for with love and kindness and respect. And they were growing and they were blossoming into the wonderful, amazing, phenomenal young men and women that you got to see this morning. They started this journey and they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. They didn't know how hard it was going to be or where this path was going to take them. They didn't know what was waiting for them beyond walking through the doors of the Longhouse. And I don't think that they expected that they would be meeting their newest family members, because that's what it turned into. It turned into a family. And I'm humble enough to admit that I'm one of the youngest in the class. And I got the opportunity to get to know these young men and women, and they became like nieces and nephews to me. I grew to love them. I prayed for them every day. And I reminded them on many, many occasions that every day that they walked through the doors of that longhouse, they are answering an ancestor's prayer. An ancestor that fought, that struggled, that cried, that begged and pleaded to maintain their identity. And an ancestor who maybe lost their life in that fight. They answered that prayer. Every day that they walked in, they answered that ancestor's prayer. I watched them doubt themselves, but they continued on. I watched them question their capabilities, but they kept putting one foot in front of the other. I watched them struggle, but they never gave up. They never quit. They never said, I'm done. Instead, they held their heads higher, they threw their shoulders back, and they kept going forward. Every single one of them walked into that building unaware of the potential that lay within them. And through the gift of language, through the gift of love and respect and kindness and culture and acceptance, they grew, they bloomed, they blossomed, they became, they gave life to their traditional identities. They reclaimed what was trying to be taken from them in the outside world through genocide, cultural appropriation, and all of those things that we have to deal with on a daily basis as Native people. They reclaimed it. They took it back and they said, no more. You don't get to tell me who I am. I'm Spokane. And I'm going to learn my language, and I'm going to learn my culture, and I'm going to be a Spokane tribal member. And I'm going to walk in this world with my head held high, my shoulders back, and when somebody asks, I'm Spokane. And that's what they got. That's what they reclaimed for themselves, and they said, it's mine and nobody's taking it from me. I watched them grow. And my heart swelled with pride, with love. I've shed my fair share of tears for these young people, but it's all been in pride and in love, never in disappointment, because they have not once disappointed us, not once. They have only exceeded our expectations. And I got to speak to our tribal elder this morning, my CC, Uncle Pat Moses. And he conveyed to me that he wished he could be here. Unfortunate circumstances said he couldn't. So he asked me to speak on his behalf, to tell you what he saw sitting in the classroom with us, listening to us speak, talking with us. He said, I looked around and I saw their grandparents. I saw their great-grandparents. I saw their great-great-grandparents sitting there beside each and every one of them. I saw them smiling. I saw them crying tears of happiness and joy. And I saw those ancestors' heads rise up. No longer defeated, only in victory. He said, I want you to understand that these young people, these young men and women, deserve the honor and the respect that we are saying about them, because they have walked it every single day. So what I'm asking you to do, what I'm begging you to do, is to not look at them as the children that they used to be. See them now as the grown young men and women, the future of our tribe, because it is secure. They are here and they are ready. They are hungry for it. And they are going to take it further than we ever thought possible for them to do. And it has been my honor and my privilege and one of the greatest joys of my life to be able to spend this time with them. And I don't think that they know just how much that they have grown to mean to me. But I hope someday that they do. So with that, I want to thank you for listening, not just with your ears, with your heart, with your spirit. To everything that has been said this morning and everything that is going to continue to be said about these young people as they walk forward from this building and into the next parts of their lives. I want to thank you for opening yourselves up to the phenomenal youth that we have, because they are so amazing. Lam lam shpatia.
Like, what would I say about this? Coming to be, what's coming to be like? You find yourself, you never saw yourself in the reflection that you seen before. You never see the beauties you see in other people's eyes. You never see yourself in such a high carried way through other people's eyes. And sometimes you doubt yourself, but that's just us. That's the environment we grow in. We grow in a toxic environment. Naturally, from our age, when we're born, we grow up in this environment that should be our table should be well set out for us, but it's not. It's just the life we got given to us. And I just thank you guys for this opportunity, the ABT, the council. Thank you guys. This is the process of us to clean all of us, our people. This is going to bring us back to life. This is going to make us real Indians again. This is going to make us not worry about a lot. We have to trust in this process and in this work we have going. We can't give up on each other. We all have to lift each other up. We're one people. We're not separate families. We're not different from each other. We are all the same person from the same tribe. We all have to work together and become one. And I want us all to be one heart one day. I don't want people to look around. We gossip so much. This tribe gossips so much, when we should all just take care of each other instead. We all need to love each other. We all need to spread this word more. We all need to bring our culture back. The land loves it. The culture is alive. I can feel it in myself. And it's so powerful. And I don't know what to do with it. I need more help. I want more people to do this. I want this to be expanded, because we need it, or we're going to be gone. Mish, no more Indians, because we forgot who we was. And now it's time for us to go find our identity back. And that's all I have to say in one lunch. Thank you very much.
His mom is Beanie.
I just want to thank you all again for allowing us this time. It was so important to the students to be here today, and it was so important for me to see them, to witness them and their hard work and everything that they've achieved. And even now we're looking at all of our different avenues to continue this to the next level with this group, and looking to the future to bring other groups through. There's so much more that I could say. There's so much more that I want to say. I think I'll save that for a future meeting. I do want to give time though to council. This is your time. And so if there's any comments or questions or anything that you would like, I would open that to council.
So do we want to go one at a time? Each one? You want me to go first? Hestahal Petsia, Samasat Luhis Quest. Good morning to all. And Samasa is my grandma would say my Indian name. A lot of times I say it's my Spokane name. And It was the name of her rag doll. She loved her rag doll. She loved me. She was the person that taught me a lot about my culture. Pauline Stearns, Lusquest, Toom, Leroy Stearns, Lusquest, Mestum, Cecilia Abrahamson, Pion, Cecilia Pion Abrahamson, Lusquest, mothers. No. Tichiar, the other one. Mother's mother is Tichiat. Magnus Abrahamson, Lusquest, Skepa. Geez, I'm getting rusty. Leroy Stearns, Lusquest, Hin, Sila. Catherine Andrews, Lusquest, Hin, father's mother. Hannah, Sulu Stew. So I'm a little bit rusty on introducing myself, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for this summer. And you know, when I first came to the role I am in today, I was really afraid that we were going to lose our language and lose our culture. And so I talked to an elder who is younger than me, but has been an elder much longer than me. And I shared this feeling. And she told me, no, we will never lose our language. We will never lose our culture. If it disappears from today, and Louis, know this, when we're ready, our ancestors will bring it back to us. Even if we lose all our fluent speakers, once we're ready, our ancestors will bring it back. And I heard that from many of you today. I heard that your Silas, your Tupias, they looked up when they heard you speaking. And that's what we are. My grandmother once told me, it's really hard to be Indian, you know, and she was an overweight woman that just loved to dance, loved to stick game, loved to go to the medicine dances and the sweat. And she took this journey every year. She would start and she would go to Canada, she would go to Montana, and she would go down to Silo Falls and around through Seattle. She did that year after year. And as I travel and meet with other elders, this one time I was at NCAI where they took elders and brought them together with the children. And I was telling the story about my grandma, and this one of the tribal council from Warm Springs came up to me and said, I remember the Spokane people when they would come around and do this, and they did it for a reason. They were gathering fish. They were gathering material. She went to Canada to get material, and every place she went, they traded. And so those are the things that will never leave us, because we're born Indian. We're born Spokane. And no matter what trials and the toxicity that we're exposed to from babies, all we have to do, like many of you said, is turn to our language, because with language comes our tradition, our culture, our practices, and then we can be of one heart, like was said. You know, the one comment, and it really irritates me, we gossip too much. You know, that really irritates me, and I'm a victim of that too. I hear this and then all of a sudden I'm like, but that's wrong. We need to support one another. And I'm really so proud of all of you elders who have really taken our language and helped yourself bring it into your heart. And now you're sharing it with us. And as the elected leaders of this tribe, we're not elders. An elder is when you want to follow me. A leader, a true leader, is when you choose to follow me. It's not when I put my thumb down on you or my finger. It's when you choose to follow me. That's when I'm a leader. That's when I'm an elder. And that was taught to me by my elders. And so I really do look to each and every one of you as an elder, because today you demonstrated what it takes to learn. What did you say? How many words? 700, 800, a tenth, of the becoming, half fluent. And the 5, being one of the hardest languages, compared to Korean. That's amazing. And I knew it was hard because even Chicha and all of those words, they're hard, and I never could get that. We have a lot of that. And so I just want to thank you, and I really appreciate what you brought to us today. And I'm going to say a prayer for all of us as my closing. And you probably can correct me, but I'm going to say it because I remember I said this prayer in front of elders at Northern Quest, and I knew that I didn't say it right. And J.R. Bluff sat there, and you know what? I knew I mispronounced words. He never, ever told me everything I did wrong. But years later, I went to him and I says, did you go out of there laughing? And he says, no, because you had the strength to say it. So it's the Lord's Prayer. Cat layout, masket, who called see us as commensalton, which helps Tetsia us to us until schoolio stuli cuts his basket. Cat will see at what who adds in your petsinum. Cat will help who wheat to sell campale, well wheat who are takasish to scamasted. Cat will help who tea. Call me Hatsachis. Thank you. May our Creator remain in your heart. Other council?
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming today. This was so awesome. I mean, to see these young people speaking the language. I mean, and the teachers and education department and the council, I mean, when this was first brought to us, I was thinking the same thing as a lot of people was, why are we doing 2 language, different places to do language? But now I'm just like ecstatic about it. This is so great. Seeing all these young people speaking the language like they did today. Wow, it was real moving. I'm old. I don't know if I can learn that language, It's a tough language. When I was a young kid, my mom drugged me over to the community center with Pauline, late Pauline Flett. And I mean, she was hard on us. We're young kids. We probably shouldn't have been there because we were acting up. But she taught us a few things. I wish I would have learned more at a young age. Hear Greg and Carol and Tiger, speak the language a little bit, around council chambers, and I try to pick up on it, but it's a tough language. But just so proud of these young kids and these young men and women. I mean, this is so awesome. I can't wait to see the next class coming up and see these guys another year or so. I mean, it's just going to be, I don't know. It really moved me today. Really nice. Thank you guys. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
I'm a man of few words, so I won't say too much, but I was very impressed, most impressive. And I'm so glad to see how the class is progressing so in a short period of time. To me, life's short, you know that. But to everything I heard today, the words of wisdom, that is very, very humble to me. I mean, I am so humbled by it. And I'm glad to see it because that's the future.
I too am very proud of you guys. I'm very proud of Barry and doing this there and stuff there. And we are first, my name, I think everybody knows me, Greg Abrahamson, and I've been on council for quite a while there. My parents are Barney and Kathy Abrahamson. My grandparents on my father's side is Norbert and Christine. My mom's side is Leroy and Catherine. And man, I'm just so proud of you guys there. It's like as we're doing, and I have my little Tichettes in this school, little school, watching them grow, watching them do all this. It really, as they say, it empowers our tribe. When we used to be at the other council, and we would be traveling, and you'd sit there and listen to other tribes sit there, and a lot of it's like Navajos. They really know their language a lot there and stuff, and they have that. You listen to them speak there and stuff there, and the council I was sitting with, we sitting there saying, well, we know a little bit, so all we do is like, in Kuasau, Chetlas, Moose, Francisco, Lamps, Una, Ta, you know, I'm probably at that 10% level there, so, but you know, this is coming to where you hear a lot out there. So we're Spokane yo to this here. And when you look at a lot of that there, and as you guys look into your elders and you're looking like I heard that reflection, you look in the reflection of that there. And it is, you come into your grandparents. I'm at elder age to where I did listen to a lot of the elders when they would sit and talk, and they would talk of the language. And I remember back in 1977 when Pat first started at, I think it's 77 or 76, Pat started at the high school. So we was learning, and that's what I went home to, and I was so proud to my grandpa and grandma, Christine and Norbert. So I go back and tell them, man, I can count. And they both bust out laughing because they said, well, we thought you were going to spit. But it's so cool, and that's what we need. We need our culture. We need our culture to battle so many battles out there, and that what makes us come as one of our mission statements is a family, and that's as we and you guys have had experience that as we are a family and we come together as a family and we stand as a family. As you say, we're yo-yo. When we do that, we get better at it. When we do that, as you guys, as younger people, are learning this, and the pride that we have as a tribal leader, as myself there, it's just so great to be able to see you guys and watch you up here tell the stories, talking and express it. A lot of it, and that's what means how you understand it. When you understand it, as we use our hands and stuff to talk a lot, you knew some of those expressions when you were talking about the stories or talking about things, you would be able to put it in to saying with your heart, as jump in the water and do a lot of things there and stuff there. I was watching it, and like I said, I'm just so proud of you guys to do that. And we would make that a priority for us now. We know that we have to get that our culture and our language back amongst us. As we do, and even if we, with our language and our culture, you know, as you go into sweat house, when you go into the sweat house and you come out and you're cleansed and you feel so much more revived and that there. So I guess I just can't completely tell you how much prideness I have in you guys there. So, and I'm glad like Margot and other families that are supporting all this and stuff there. It's tremendous. Like I say, I see my little Tichettes grow. Cool. This gives you good heart, good mind, and know that our tribe is on a good track. So thank you.
I think we're social distancing here. Hello, Tiger Peel, Spokane Tribal Council. I'm a little taken aback right now because I was really emotional to hear all this. First and foremost, I want to thank Tribal Council, Sulustu, Hupas, Setequa, Education Department. It takes all of us to make this happen. And it's like Greg says, the feelings, you can't put words on it. Listen to the stories and how deep it's touching it, because life is rough, you know, and you guys get that. But pride, what's going to carry you through it, you know, is your pride, keeping your head up, your strength, your inner strength that you're developing from your language. I was fortunate enough to take a year with Pat, my man, and 1 year I was able to use that for my foreign language course. Loved it. But like Greg says, I didn't get 770 words. But his teaching methods, his passion, his humbleness, his understanding, his compassion to let me grow at my own pace is incredible. So the teachers, I understand that, and I appreciate and respect you guys for, it takes special people to teach. Not everyone can teach. And younger students, you're in great hands. Carol alluded to elders. There's no age limit on being an elder. You know, it's wisdom. It's what's here. It's what's in your heart. It's how you speak, your respectfulness. That's how you lead. That's how you become a good leader, and that's how people will follow you. You know, as a business council, we talk about and we listen to numbers all day. We talk about deliverables, and we're facts driven, we're percentages, we're profit margins, all that. But today's deliverable, I mean, it's your ears, your eyes, your heart. I can't express the love that I feel for all of you guys. So I'm kind of rambling now, but I'm proud of you. I also want to thank the council, because when we started this journey of prioritizations, something that never left the top of our charts, because the whole gamut, the council's full of language, never left the top. And it's a priority. And the result of today is, love it. Confident. We're, as a tribe, thank you guys. The flame was dwindling. Everybody knew the amount of fluent speakers we had, but it's growing. And I am so confident that we're on such a good path now, and the resilience of who we are. So keep learning. Every time, you know, you listen to your elders in the winds, appreciate, even if you don't get the word right, they appreciate you speaking it. For every kid that was in a boarding school that wasn't allowed to speak, keep speaking it. Love you.
I just want to thank you all for today. Today's been a really big day for us. It just, you know, filled my heart to be here, to hear the words of all of the students, to hear all of your reflections. And, you know, it's true, it takes a whole community to do this. And you know, when I heard Louis speaking earlier today, the maybe it's a reflection of the wounding that's happened in our communities. People talk about historical trauma, and I think we see the results of that today with the gossiping and the infighting and things like that. But language is power, and language is healing. And what we've drawn out, we didn't create this, other people did this, but they laid the path for us, and we're implementing that path, and it's bringing healing to our community. We're looking for actively looking for the ways to do the next step, level 2, book 2, to bring these students to the next level. We're actively exploring ways to expand this in the community, to involve our traditional language program, more of their staff and their students, trying to create a union of that, and put aside hurts or animosities or suspicions, and bring all of our people together. This is really about, and language can do that. Language, maybe it's a statement for another time, but language is a mysterious thing, and we can talk more about this in the future. But on all social measures, language improves community health. We don't know why, but not just here, but all throughout North America. When you revitalize a language, domestic violence goes down, poverty decreases, graduation rates increase. It's the power of a culture is in its language, as evidenced on every social measure. I don't know why that is, except that it's the power and the gift that we received from our ancestors, from our elders. And I believe that's what's going to lift the Spokane people up even higher than where we've been before. And we're just looking at the mechanics of how to implement it, how to make it happen, and how to bring it about. And you've seen the passion of these students, and we're going to see that coming together even more in the future. So I just thank you for your time today. There's so much more that I want to say. I know we've already gone over, but thank you. Lemnam Shpetsia.
Yeah, 2 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. And they're